Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. You are here with Life of Toy. If you are new to my channel, I am Toy. This is the life. So here we do family content. So I am a mother. I am a wife of 17 years. I am also a security officer. I'm a Jehovah's Witness. I'm also a Christian. I'm also into fitness. I'm also a YouTuber. I'm also, and the list goes on. I'm an artist. I draw. We do all that type of stuff right here on this channel. I just bought a house up in DC during a pandemic. So that's just a little bit of all the different avenues or channels or things we do here. So if you're interested in any of that stuff, then you'll like it here. So welcome and please subscribe. Help out the channel. I appreciate it. So today, for many of you, you know that I recently posted a life update because I had not been consistent, which I had been consistent for a good portion of the pandemic. So I kind of got sidetracked it with some life things. And so I just wanted to let you guys know what they were. But one thing that I didn't really talk much about was my mom's situation. And I thought maybe this would be useful for somebody else who has a DC voucher. So I just want to basically do a story time. And for those of you who have been subscribed to this channel for a long time, you know your girl name back in the day. This channel used to be called Toy Story. So I love telling my stories about certain things, giving reviews on certain things. But then I kind of went into more of a vlogger style or whatever. So yeah, we're gonna get back to that old. Yeah, sorry about that. I had to change the whole ambiance because my phone was like about to die on y'all, and I wanted to give you guys the story time. So for many of you, you know that my mom had cancer before the pandemic, and a lot of people think like after your treatment is completed, especially if you have like a high stage. My mom had stage 4 breast cancer, and so a lot of people think once you completed your chemo and you've had the breast removed, that life just from that point forward it just goes on, and it is completely not like that. So you lose a lot of memory, a lot of strength. It is an ongoing process for years after your treatment. And my mom had chemo first, radiation, and then she had the surgery to remove the breast. So life is still not back to normal for her yet. So a lot of the things or things that she used to could do, I do for her. I am partially her caregiver or caretaker. I don't live with her, but there are times where she'll come over my house and stay for weeks. I take her to the grocery store. I run errands for her. I get her medicine for her. Um, you know, anything she needs me to do that she used to could do and she can't do no more, I do it for her. Her strength is really, really low, so she can't lift heavy things. Her memory is really bad, so she forgets to call certain things. She forgets to pay bills. I remind her. Sometimes I even will call and pay bills for her. A lot of her accounts like Pepco and her Comcast, her doctor, she has me down as her power attorney or basically somebody who can make decisions for her. So like I could easily call housing or Comcast or anything that is associated or affiliated with her, and I could speak for her because it's gotten to that point. I think later in life she'll gain that back where she can be more self-dependent, but right now like it's so fresh. Like she literally just had a second surgery done about 4 months ago. Right after I moved in my new house, she actually, because where they cut the breast off, they needed to add flesh there because it was causing her a lot of pain and it was like a big indent right there. So that was another surgery she just recently had. So long story short, I have been keeping up with housing. My mom has a housing voucher, so they pay a good percentage. They pay up to about 85% of her rent. And so after this surgery, last surgery, her walking has gotten terrible. She can't walk long periods of time, and to even see her walk up the stairs is like something that takes me and you like 10 minutes. It can take her like dagger 20 minutes. And it's sad, like, to see her even try to walk upstairs. And she was on the second floor in her complex. And they were pretty deep stairs. With that being said, she also has asthma really, really bad. So she would have to take her inhaler while she's walking up the stairs, and then, she can barely walk up the stairs. It's just a mess. So I have been in contact with housing, like, about this situation probably for about a year and a half. However long the pandemic's been going on, that's how long that I've been trying to tell housing she needs to move to a first floor level. And housing just acts like DC housing. They just act like they weren't working at all during a pandemic. I don't know if that's true or not, because I thought most places were doing telework, but they made it seem like they were just completely not in the office, not at home, just not working. We even got a reply from them via email saying that right now we're literally not doing anything because it didn't say that wording, but it was saying that we're not open during the pandemic. And I'm just like, how could you not be open? Like, I could see if things were a little slower or you're working from home, but like, the pandemic lasts for a long time. So I'm just like, I don't understand how for almost 2 years you guys weren't working. I don't believe that. With that being said, finally they reached out to her recently and said that she could move. A lot of the reason they recently reached out to her was because her doctor actually had to type up something saying, look, my patient needs to be on the first floor, period. And she also needs to be closer to her daughter, because since I've moved to my house, my mom is a good like 30 minutes away from where I live, depending on the traffic. So we found a place that seemed legit. We actually viewed about 3 places. One place was too small, but the neighborhood was nice. It was close to me, but it was just too small. And my mom shares her voucher with my brother. My brother is not her caretaker though. It's something about daughters. I don't know. It's something about daughters that we just take more of a load than a son. Look, I don't know who out here watching this channel like, hey, I'm a son and I'm gonna need you to stop going on sons. But it is what it is. Like, I don't know if that's just my situation or that's just men in general, but it's like men just don't have that caring nature in them. Like they care, but they don't know how to be a caregiver the way a woman does. With that being said, so we viewed apartment number 2, and apartment number 2 was like literally across the street from me, but it had a lot of things that need to be done in it. And the landlord was like, his estimate is it wouldn't be complete until about 3 months from now. And we were like, we already waited like 2 years just to hear back from housing, so we not fitting to wait a whole another, like, that's a long time, another 3 months, like, nah. So apartment number 3 was on the first floor. It had central AC, which was a plus, and it also had a washer and a dryer in the unit, which was another plus. It was on the first floor, as I mentioned. What else did it have? It was big. That was a selling factor. It was huge. It was one of those older apartments, and for those of you who know, back in the day, they made big apartments back in the day. But now they build up, they don't build out. So it's like now apartments supposed to be looking like a 1-bedroom, but it's a very old apartment. So the layout is huge. The kitchen is huge. It has a dining room and a living room. There's a separate entity, which that was a big selling point. Another thing too was that there were cameras on the property, and my mom was feeling kind of some type of way about moving to Southeast, so that was nice. And it was in a relatively quiet neighborhood, which is cool. It was like a side street, and it's literally just his apartments and a few houses. So it was less, seemed like a neighborhood with less drama. So all those different things kind of made us. And then best part about it all is, wait for it, it's like 2 minutes away from where I live. Like, literally, if you're driving, it's like you can walk to her apartment from where if you're at my house, you can walk to her apartment. So all nice, you know what I'm saying, with a bow tie on it. Now, the landlord himself seems like a nice guy. He's funny, he's kind, he's very chatty. has a wonderful personality. He draws you in. Like, he has a very outgoing personality. You can tell he's a good talker. So my mom moved in there, which was a headache because housing literally has this thing now where they're not involved in the process of, because it's not like you just find a place. It's not like you just, okay, you get your voucher after you've went to a briefing that explains to you the process. But after that, what housing used to do is they would kind of walk you through the steps, because you don't just find a place and say, hey, here's my housing voucher. No, you don't do that. So what you do is you find a place, you view it, and then housing does an inspection, and then the unit has to get past the inspection. After they pass the inspection, usually housing will reach out to you, and then there's some paperwork to go over, and then you'll have a portal, and then you can see updates on when it's available for you to move in. Well, they don't do it like that. After the pandemic, the only person who has a portal is the landlord now. So every information we got, it had to come through him. So when he told us he passed, well, let's back it up. He did not pass the first inspection first. He didn't pass the first inspection. But he called us eventually, because it took him a few days to call us, and he told us, I'm scheduled for a second inspection, but I did not pass my first inspection because of the fire detector did not go off. That's what he told us. So we were a little fishy about that. It sounded a little sketchy, because we were like, do we just take his word for it? Or do we, like, can we call housing to see why you didn't pass inspection? So we called housing. They're like, oh, we don't talk to tenants anymore. He knows why he didn't pass inspection. And when he does, he will reach out to you. So we're like, okay, that's different. But anyway, so he did when he passed, and literally he passed on the last day in June, and then he wanted her to move in the next day. So this was like a runaround thing. Like, we were praying. We were like, I don't know. Should we do this, Jehovah? Like, everything happened so quick. It went from happening so slow to happening so quick. And so then we moved her in. It was a whole day process. And when I say my mom had a lot of crap, she had a lot of crap. So this took us all day. Once we moved her in, that same night, she already had issues. I'm trying to go as fast as I can, because I know you guys don't want to watch an hour-long video, but it is what it is. So, okay, the first night she calls me. Hold on. She doesn't call me, actually. Well, no. She does call me. She calls me. So I'm like, yeah, what's up? We've been moving all day, so I'm tired. So she's like, oh, well, the washer and the dryer doesn't work. Are you sure? She's like, no, it does not work. I tried, Joe tried, it's not working. It's not coming on. Okay. I'm like, give me a minute. I'll call him, but just, give me a minute. Do you need to wash clothes tonight? Just give me a minute. Then she calls me again. And she says, oh, and Toya, there's no hot water. What you talk about, Willis? I'm like, it's no hot water. You sure? And so she's like, nope, no hot water. And then I call her back, because at this point in time, I'm like, that's a big deal. So I'm calling her back, and I'm not getting any answers. I'm like, what happened with her phone? So later that night, she calls me again, and she says, yeah, and my phone does not work in here. My server has no service in this unit. So when I call you, I have to walk a block up the street. So yeah, okay. So so far I'm just like, this is a lot, So, I'm calling him, I'm texting him, and he is completely apologetic. He's like, I'm so sorry, I don't know what happened. Oh, let me rewind it back. Oh, and she also tells me too that the closet doors have holes in them. And so I'm thinking, first of all, I'm mad at myself too, because you think when someone passes an inspection that you can trust that everything's all good. But I'm beginning to see it doesn't even matter if a person goes to an inspection. You need to double check these things yourself. So I'm feeling mad at myself, because I didn't, I don't expect her to know to check things, but I should have. I guess I was just exhausted and everything happened so quick. So I'm just like, whatever, just give us the keys. And that's it. I didn't take the time to inspect the home myself before accepting the keys. Okay. Another thing that should have been a red flag is he gave me one key. Well, later we're like, hold on, wait a minute. This one key opens up the main front door too of the complex, and it also opens up the mailbox. Oh, I didn't give you a key for that, bruh. Why not? So, I'm trying to be patient with him because, like I said, he's a nice guy and he's very apologetic. So I'm just trying to be patient. And in his defense, he fixed these things approximately the first 3 days. She has hot water now. She has a working washer and dryer, which the whole washer and dryer needs to be replaced. But he did replace it. The holes in the closet have not been fixed, but she did receive her mailbox key, her front door key. Okay. So in his defense, they got fixed. So I'm thinking now we can breathe. Well, about 4 days ago, I get a call from my mom. Oh, and we got her Wi-Fi, which helped out with the phone situation. So she can make calls in her home. We thinking we're good. I get a call from my mom about 4 days ago. The AC conked out. So now they have no central AC anymore in the middle of summer, in the middle of July. Now I'm getting agitated. At this point, I'm just like, bruh, you got to get your crap together. You know what I'm saying? So I sent him a very serious email. And I also sent housing a very serious email saying, you have an inspector that supposedly came out here to inspect this home, but 90% of everything is dang near broke. Or if it ain't broke, it broke down. So I'm confused at this point. Like, what are your inspectors doing? So I did that. He replied. Housing did not reply to me. But he replied saying, oh, I'm on it. I'm going to get it fixed. Within those 4 days, he has had 3 people come and look at it. But it's not fixed. So we're going on almost a week of no AC in a hot house with an elderly person. So he replies to me today actually saying, well, I apologize, but it was working the day she came in there, and I would have never moved her in there if I knew it wasn't working. And it's like, I understand what you're saying. I'm trying to be patient. But at the same time, you're sleeping in your comfortable AC house. And my mom is sleeping in a place that feels like a sauna. And she has asthma. And she has bronchitis. And she has, she's elderly. I hear you, but it's an excuse at this point in time. I don't know what the holdup is quite. He's saying there's a piece he's waiting on. I don't know how this works. I don't know. If you're a landlord, reply. You tell me, am I being impatient? But at this point, I'm just like, when a person is super uncomfortable in a unit they just moved to, they don't care. I don't care what your excuse is. I want it fixed. Are you going to listen to my excuses when I tell you I can't pay the rent? So this is a business. And I'm sorry, but you're asking me to be understanding over something that is very serious. This is a very serious matter. So no, I can't be understanding. I need it to be fixed now. Like, this is the 4th issue in this unit, and she's only been here since the 1st of July. So this is just a story time. We have no resolution. He supposedly sent me another text message saying that it should be completely fixed by Tuesday. I told my mom on Monday, me and her are going to tag team housing. I feel like I want her to move. I feel like this is not a good fit, and it's just too many red flags at the beginning. It makes me feel like once this gets fixed, what's next? It's been problem after problem, and she's only been living here for a week. I don't know if housing gives you a window to change your mind. I've been told they do. So if that's the case, I say let's try again with somewhere else. The only thing is the moving is strenuous. It's a strenuous process. My husband, my brother did it all by ourselves, but it was a lot. You got to pay for a moving truck, and you also, I had to take off work that day. My husband had to take off work. So I don't know what my mom wants to do. She seems like she's on defense because she doesn't want to go through because she lost some things too in the move. And so she's like, I don't really know if I want to pack. And, you know, it's a whole process. It's a whole vibe. And so we don't know what we're going to do. But I do know we're going to call housing tomorrow, and we're going to keep calling until we get some answers, some names, you know, who is going to take point in seeing that these things get resolved. So this has been my story time. I'm sorry it doesn't have a good ending, but moral of the story is, if you are moving into a new unit, apartment, house, condo, I don't care what it is, before, even if you're just purchasing something, if you're purchasing a home, if you're purchasing a car, please, please take the time to not believe anyone. I don't care if you have an inspector, if you have a mechanic with you, take the time to do your own research. Take the time before you accept anything. Take the time to make sure everything is working properly, because usually it's very hard to do take backs once you've accepted the key. So that's just my brief short story time, and I hope it benefits somebody out there who has a housing voucher or just looking to move. I was thankful enough to have a really good real estate agent who made it so easy for me that I didn't have to check behind her, because she would check behind everybody. But you know, with my mom, it's just me and her doing this, and I'm not a real estate agent, so it has been very difficult taking the lead on everything, because I'm not a caseworker, I'm not a real estate agent, but I feel like I'm wearing the hats of everyone because no one has stepped up to help. But that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. I hope you like the story time, ladies, gents, whoever.